Yeah, yeah. Oh, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? That royalty-free techno music can only mean one thing, and that is that legit football is back. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host, Kevin Phillip Fox, here for another episode of Legit Football, and I am not coming at you alone. Ladies and gentlemen, I am joined by the man from down under himself, Mr. Australia, Adrian Revito. What's poppin', Age?
I love this music. A little bit of
I
funk.
like that one too. Kind of like Devo core a little bit.
First thing in the morning for me, not for you. Obviously, it's 8 a.m., 8:30 a.m. out here. I'm doing good, man. We were just chatting before the show started as we were getting ready to kick off. It's a quiet time in the NFL, but there's some news flying around. It's not the quietest time, but it's a quiet time.
Yeah,
I will say.
Yeah.
Sorry, yesterday, much to my I was beaming. I don't know what the right word is. But, Fabian randomly asked to watch the Packers, and I'm like, hell yeah. So I just put Packers highlights on for the year, and I was just like, I put it on to keep him busy while I was doing some stuff, and I sort of went to walk away, and then I'm like, and then I spent like 15 minutes watching Packers highlights. So I'm really missing football today, so I'm happy to be here talking to you.
Definitely, man. I'm playing a lot of Madden. I'm just trying to scratch the itch right now.
Yeah, I get that.
I'm trying to right the wrongs of the universe, man. I'm trying to get Josh Allen a Super Bowl ring. It's a task, man. I play on all Madden, the hardest difficulty. I do franchise mode. I did create a coach. I made Joe Brady, even though I hate him. But yeah, I feel you. You got the kid. I am the kid in my house. So I'm playing the Madden. I'm trying to simulate the reality I want to see. But Adrian, there is stuff to be talked about. Without further ado, I think let's not whisper sweet nothings to each other any longer. We have a very fun segment planned by you, actually, Adrian. So feel free, dive in and jump in and explain to the good people of the Legit Football Podcast what we're going to be doing today.
All right. So today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be playing. Now, everyone has discussed this game, but we're a family-friendly show. There is a version of this game which has some fruity language going on, and so we're not going to go down the FMK is the way, but we're going to use the same acronym, and we're talking free agent, trade, target, freak, marry, cuts. So we're talking about, I'm going to bring up some categories, and we're going to go by position groups here of some free agents and some trade targets, and we're going to discuss who would you freak, which is you get into bed with, you get the job done, maybe a 1-year contract or a prove it deal or something like that. Who do you marry? And that means you throw the bag at. And that's like we need to think the way I think we need to look at this is marry is a long-term contract. Well, I know if we look at some of these players, they might get 2 or 3 years, or they might get multi-year, but they won't get a lot. But the way we're going to discuss this is, what if your team was throwing the bag at them? Would you be happy? And then cut it with a K is a special version of kill, which is like, just get out of my life. I don't want to see you on my team or any other team. I don't want to talk about you in our case, and that's the way it's going to be. So we're going to pick between these ones here. And I will say, as I was walking through this exercise, it's usually easier to pick one of these. So I can normally quite comfortably pick who I don't want to see in my life, but sometimes the remaining two are quite hard to pick between, as we'll get into.
That's the part that I'm the most nervous about. So, okay. So we have some proposals here. We love Titan Maximum, kiss, marry, cut. I like that.
That is nice.
It doesn't have the same ring to it because it's FMK first and foremost. I like the Australian use the K for cut. Also, did I hear you describe the language as fruity? That's like that means something different in America.
No, look, it was probably it means the same thing here.
I was just going to say
used it.
I don't know if that's if it means bad or foul, but I'm like, let me You know what
Yeah,
I
maybe
mean?
I should have said graphic.
That's right.
Flavorful. Anyway, you get what I was going with, but I
Zesty.
understand fruity.
I
Fruity was
like it.
probably not the right choice of words. You put me on the spot, man. This is normally your spot to introduce.
Hey, I really liked what you did, and anytime you say anything that is like just culturally different, I'm like, I'm gonna let him rock because it's probably something in Australia. So I let you
But
rock,
you
man.
should pull me up on it because our audience is largely American.
Family
Um,
friendly, largely American. So I'm gonna get out ahead of your because you cracked me up when you said for Freak, you said 1 year contract, get into bed with. I was like, oh my God. I was like, Adrian you're in rarefied air today.
but that's
I
what I
see
mean
I
is
see the vision. I think you cooked, honestly.
it's meant to be it's like a one night, like it's the equivalent of a one night thing.
Just keep
You
going,
wake up
man.
the next morning and it's like, oh, okay, they're still asleep. Let me just try and sneak out of here. Like you
This
just get the
guy,
job done and you're
ladies and
gone.
gentlemen, Adrian Revito, take a bow for the people who are watching the podcast.
You just
Fabian, cover your ears. Don't, when we're showing our kids these episodes, we'll leave this one out.
I'll just
This is
bleep it.
this it should be after dark, but it's 1:30 Pacific. So you're kind of
I have one more analogy. It's going to make me seem like a
oh
pig, but
no.
I'm going to say it anyway.
Oh, I'm walking
Is
out. I'm
no,
I'm
no, this is. I'm just going to use this exact phrase. So amongst my friends in my younger and more single days, it was like, "Would you?" And I'd be like, oh, "I wouldn't tell anyone about it, but I would." That's the freak. It's like I would. I just wouldn't tell people. I'd get the job done, and I would be out.
So, this would be that episode where like if people were like, "Oh, legit football, family friendly." If I was showing people we had edge, I'd show them this episode. I'd be like,
Yeah.
"Yo, Adrian Revito, bring in the edge. Look at the beard. Look at the nice haircut. The edge
You,
is all here. The sex appeal is all here, but it's over there. The freak appeal, if you will. It's on that
we
side of the screen."
we have had discussions, Kevin and I have more than once mentioned. I'm so happy you brought this up. Doing a legit football after dark, where we can truly unleash. Yeah, we'll see. Watch this.
I'm not too vulgar with like what I say, but I have a sailor's mouth. The F word
Ditto.
for me is like a comma when I talk.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
I
I
agree.
apologize to the people who had a great image of me. Like I on this podcast, I really do try my best. But you heard Roxanne, you heard my girlfriend. She couldn't control her tongue.
In timeout. I saw
She
that.
got kicked out. Yes, she got kicked out. And it's so funny, Adrian. Joe Crack wants to make a cameo, and I told him, dude, of all the people I know, I don't think there's anybody who I would need a bleep button for or worse.
He needs a bleep button even in the chat.
In the comments.
So, yeah.
He can't, and he's also kind of flagrant too. Like he's not just saying like crazy curse words. He'll also say like crazy, like flagrant things. So
Yeah.
without further ado, we do have actual football stuff to get to. So thank you for just perking my ears up a couple times during that intro, Adrian. You, my friend, are truly a national treasure, or I say an international treasure.
I do try.
So you sent these in the WhatsApp. So should I be hosting?
I've got it.
You got them.
I've got it. Yeah.
Oh, let's go. Okay. Freak, Mary, Kill, Malik Willis, Kirk Cousins, Aaron Rodgers. And I think, do you mind if I kick this off?
By all means.
And do you also mind if you...
Wait, did that?
Do you mind leaving...
Did you take that up?
I did.
You mind,
yeah, you mind leaving that sucker up?
I will.
I like looking at it for visual reference. Freak, and I think I might have just said kill, but it is cut, ladies and gentlemen. Just to be clear.
Sorry. I'm showing the wrong one.
There she is.
And it's got a 10-second timer. That's why. All right. I'll fix it up while you're going.
All right. So we got Malik Willis, Kirk Cousins, and Aaron Rodgers. Okay. This is difficult to talk about because, I mean, Malik Willis does appear to be the belle of the ball of the free agent quarterback class. And I think that's deserved based on the solid backup play that he's had. Jordan Love not been the poster child for health. So it's pretty nice to see in those opportunities he's come in and executed and done his job. And if we recall, maybe in the first year of this podcast, Malik Willis was projected to be a first-round pick. Ended up sliding like crazy in the draft.
Poor class, though. That's why, though. In a
poor class, sure. But, I mean, you can only rise up above your circumstances, Like, you can only play with the hand you're dealt. And Malik Willis, thus far in his career, I mean, yes, there was some abysmal quarterback play in Tennessee. But as I say all the time on the show, quarterbacks are failed more often than quarterbacks fail. And I think Malik Willis was just horrendously failed by Green Bay. You see Darnold go do the backup role, do the thing, and then boom, you Super Bowl champion. we now see, we're seeing quarterbacks like Drew Lock go in backup roles, be better. Daniel Jones get away from toxic organizations, come back, be better. So Malik Willis could very well be the guy who gets some fresh scenery. I'm gonna marry Malik Willis, only strictly based on age. Him and I mean, based on what I'm looking for in a partner, quarterback partner. You know what I'm
Thing.
saying? He's
Yep.
got the age that kind of matches I feel like we could build a life together. I feel like we could, find a little plot of land. I could build him a home. We could settle down. I'm gonna marry Malik Willis in this game. Do you want to go in and do the next step, or do you want to go at it? You do
No,
your
no,
marry. Should
no,
I
you do
do
your
all of them
three.
and then you do
Do
all
your
yours?
three. Yeah.
I'm gonna cut Aaron Rodgers. I was just not impressed whatsoever by what I saw last season. Sure, he went to the playoffs, but I just don't think he has anything left in the tank. I understand the appeal of he's coming back. It seems pretty clear, which is just unbelievable because that ship has sailed so many times, and it's like, bro, he's just so Brett Favre, and it's so funny.
It's so crazy how tired they. If he ends up in Minnesota, which I think there's a chance that he
There's a
won't.
non-zero chance.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
would be crazy to me.
Yep. I gotta do it. And then Kirk, I don't think he's got much left in the tank either. I think this was a tough call. This was a coin flip. But if I'm one night of quarterback play, you give me one. It's eight Pacific neutral site. I get to pick. I'm drafting a team for a one game situation, one night gold line stand, if you will. I would take Kirk Cousins. I just think he has just a little bit more left in the tank than Rodgers. I know Rodgers has the higher highs. He's sharper mentally as a player, not as a human.
Yeah.
But I think I would take Kirk just for a last dance that over Rodgers.
So I agree with you, and I have to put the caveat here that the freak is, whilst it is compared to the one night, it is a 1 year. So I think about having him for Buffalo for a year.
Understood.
I
Same answer.
I think Malik is the Murray as well. I absolutely, but I think this is what I was saying. It's kind of easy to pick one in some of these, and then the other two are hard. Rodgers brings with him a lot of drama and a lot of things that you don't want. But I think his players of a higher level. I think Kirk was kind of like he just couldn't move in the pocket. Not that Rodgers was scrambling for 20 yards, but I think Kirk just had nothing left in him. That's how it seems at the time. Now he's a year further removed from a fairly bad injury, so maybe there's more to come. It seems like he still wants to play. I'm sure he will get paid in what is, look, to say Malik Willis is kind of the belle of the ball at the moment and I love Malik Willis. He absolutely delivered for Green Bay, but it's kind of an indictment on what's available at the moment.
Agreed.
But we're in the you said it yourself, we're in the age of reclamation. You get what I'm
Correct.
saying. Reclaimed quarterbacks, right?
Yep.
And funnily enough, ironically, it kind of started in Tennessee with Ryan Tannehill. That's the way I look at it, because he got failed hard by the Vikings, came in
true.
as well. You got Baker Mayfield there. Like we know that a good coach can make such a huge difference. So I am interested to see here, and I'm going to throw one. All right, what about if I threw in? So mine is freak Aaron Rodgers, because I think his game is higher. I think Kirk Cousins has nothing left.
Fair.
What if I threw in one? All right, I'm going to throw in Kyler Murray, and you can take one of these players out and assign their letter to him.
I would assign him the label of freak.
Yeah.
I'm not inspired at all. Like Malik Willis at least has he could be a boat thing going for him, where we don't fully know his ceiling. I think we know Kyler's ceiling, and I think it's middle to slightly below average, which can be good enough to win a Super Bowl with the right team, but with a team where he's supposed to be the guy, it's just not enough.
Yeah.
For you, same.
It's funny though. I'm the same boat, but I think the way I kind of look at it is I actually think he could be good still. Like we're not that far removed from when he was an MVP candidate. We are, but we're not. Like, what, 3 years? And I just, like, if you take the injuries out, and I just wonder in the right system, the Cardinals have been a bad team as of recent.
I hear that. And
I just wonder if you go into a stable organization with the right amount of weapons, and someone that can make you kind of remember. I remember the season he was playing really well, and the following season is like, my legs should be a luxury, not a requirement, or something to the tune. Like, I don't want to be running on every play. a team that puts him in a position to be able to do that. It's like scramble when you want to, but you don't have to because you're going to have the
But does
options
it
open.
really feel like he runs that much in Arizona? Like I kind of felt like he underutilized his legs. Like I
It
don't.
seemed like he cut it back at one point.
Yeah, and I'll tell you this. It's funny because I could literally be the biggest hypocrite in the world talking out of both sides of my mouth saying quarterbacks are failed more often than not. And yeah, Arizona's definitely not a world-class organization. We've learned that. They kind of have been a dumpster fire, and maybe that's not Kyler's fault. But I will say his play and his attitude and his buy-in and his effort hasn't really done anything to convince me. Like
That's fair.
Darnold, you could see even in being just abysmal at football. Zach Wilson, you could see even through being abysmal at football. You could see the effort and you could see the want and you could see the try. It's not like Kyler didn't have, the reincarnation of Randy Moss with Michael Wilson. It's not like he didn't have Marvin Harrison, Trey McBride, the best tight end in football, debatably.
That's
Like,
fair.
it's not like he's completely. They spent a first round pick on a lineman for him. I don't know. It's not like he's completely devoid of assets. To the point where I don't know. I think with what he has, he should have done more.
Yeah. And that's the other thing. I kind of wonder whether a fresh start would be, for some of these players that have the attitude issue as well,
Yep.
sometimes a fresh start, even if you just get the honeymoon period. And that's where I go F for him because I think you would get a 1 year where he would want to prove the haters wrong. And
Yep.
anyway,
That's where the freak comes in for me.
it's funny. We talked another behind the curtain. We talked about this being a somewhat shorter show. And we're already almost 20 minutes in and we've only gone through one.
How many are there?
2, 4, 6 total.
We'll be
so
good.
we should be
We'll
okay.
be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, this should be. All right, Adrian, you're gonna start us off on this one. We're gonna freak, marry, or cut Jalen Phillips, Trey Hendrickson, and Buffalo Bills legend. He says in jest, Joey Bosa.
All right, so this is a hard one, I think, and I did struggle with two of these players, but
I think I know the struggle you're having. I think I can
Yeah.
pinpoint it. Yeah,
I'm going to cut your boy. I have to.
Yeah.
Not for nothing. I'll tell you why. And it's not because I don't think he can be an impact player, because I think he can impact, but
Yeah.
he can't impact 17 games a season, and he's not going to. And you're going to have to pay him 17 games a season because
Yep.
he's got the name for
Yep.
17 games a season, but he doesn't. He's never going to be there for that.
And you know what's
so I
crazy?
think
He did an okay job staying on the field in Buffalo, but his impact dipped significantly down.
what
the
is that
stretch.
that you just pulled out?
This is a
with your hand?
tripod. I'm just holding.
Oh, okay.
I like to have a little stimulation when I'm potting, and I just happen
get
to pick
that.
the biggest thing. I usually have like a little toy or like a little stress ball or something, but this was the closest thing to me. So,
Nice.
yeah.
Sorry, go on.
No, I just
Mm.
he can he can play still, and he was impactful at times. But you said you're not going to get a 17 game season. He did an okay job staying on the field, but he wasn't impactful down the stretch when we needed him most. We signed him to be our playoff closer. That man Bean is just striking out on those because Von Miller was the same. And it's like, that's where maybe we got the worst version of Joey Bosa was down the stretch.
Yeah. And Armand in the chat, I just saw pop up. What's going on, man?
Our boy.
Yeah, I would say, look, I have to agree with you. And I think for that reason, and the other two, which I'm going to get to, they've got their own red flags as well. But I just think Joey Bosa at this stage of his career is more name than game. And I think you're going to get the Joey Bosa that you know and love for 7 games a season for sure. Like you're going to get that impact player. But yeah,
maybe you actually do. I know we joke about it a lot, but maybe you actually do the bubble wrap thing with Bosa if you sign him. Maybe you actually fake a calf injury in camp and you say, "We'll see you in January or December." Maybe that's the way the Bills screwed up because he did play a lot of snaps early in the season, and it seemed like he just kind of, really fell off the cliff.
And he also to the point of the group we're talking about here, I think it's a tier down, not in his prime obviously, but it's a tier down now. So for me, you cut him. I found this one hard to pick. Both have had pretty devastating injuries. Trey Hendrickson, as we know, the core injury that took him out at the end of the last season. Jalen Phillips had back-to-back 23 and 24. Had I think it was an Achilles in 23 and ACL in 24, but he played really, really well last year. I'm going to marry Trey Hendrickson, though, and it's only because I think you've got Jalen Phillips has 2 really big injuries, and he He came back, he killed it with Miami. He went over to the Eagles, and he absolutely he was one of those ones that Howie was praised for because he just transformed that defense. And you put him with Vic Fangio, and he was just like a chess piece. He was like kind of the core of the defense. Um, but I just think Trey Hendrickson was that guy in a defense that was completely devoid of talent. Like he was the only guy in that the defense. Maybe not last year, but the year before when he was a DPOY candidate.
Yep.
And he just took over the field, and on a team that was just abysmal, Trey Hendrickson was the bright spot. So I think he's got one core injury. You're banking on him coming back. He might not be the exact same player year one, but I think by year two you're going to get the best of him. And I think he's shown it over multiple seasons. Whereas Jalen Phillips, who to his credit did excellent last year and has made himself a significant amount of money. Someone is going to pay that man a lot of money. Actually, while you're talking, I'm going to look up what his projected is. But I'm going to marry Trey Hendrickson for that reason. And I'm going to bring Jalen Phillips in on a 1-year contract. And it's probably going to cost me more in the long run if he plays amazing again. But
Yep.
at least I've got the chance to negotiate. And that's where I'm going.
Little
I'm going to
prove
look
it,
up while you're
little
looking.
prove it deal situation.
Correct.
I like it, man. I think Bose is the clear cut tier. Respect to the ceiling that he can still reach, but the floor is craterous, and there is, unless I'm getting close to a vet minimum, I have no interest in risking that floor.
Can I
Yeah.
jump in before you go
Yeah.
ahead? I'm just going to tell you what their current market value is. So projected Trey Hendrickson is projected 25 mil a year. Jalen Phillips is
25 mil a year.
yeah, annual.
Woo!
And
Woo!
this is per spottrack.com.
Right.
And Jalen Phillips is 17 mil. So they're both going to make a lot of money, but Hendrickson's going to cost you more.
At those numbers, your the
Hendrickson's
question gets a little
31.
harder.
Holy
Hendrickson's
cow.
31.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? At those numbers, you kind of might have just swayed me. I'm actually contemplating
Let's
switching my.
swap.
Yeah. I'm definitely cutting Bosa. RP. As per this question, I think Phillips probably profiles really well as an edge in a 3-4. Bosa used to do that, I think, in LA. But I know, unfortunately, I think my Bills are switching to something along those lines. 3-4 is so confusing compared to 4-3. 4-3 is such a traditional base defense. Like 3-4 just kind of makes the equation weird and hard. But I think Jalen Phillips probably currently at this stage of his career profiles best as an edge in a 3-4. Yeah, you got to cut Bosa, and then I think Hendrickson. I was gonna marry Hendrickson because of the ceiling. But 31 at 25 mil a year, that feels like the kind of marriage where it's like, yo, we're both 50 and we're both coming out of failed marriages. And, like, let's give this one last shot. Let's give love one last shot. I think I'll still do it. I'll take the middle-aged romance with Trey Hendrickson. And then Jalen Phillips. Yeah, I'll take the 1-year freak deal. And let's just hope that he doesn't cost me an arm and a leg.
And because he'll be 27. And so I would say if you were to get him on and which you won't obviously because someone's going to pay him the bag, but in this world where we're hypothetical, if you were to get him on a prove it deal, he does prove it, he's going to cost you significantly more to keep.
If I found out the Bills gave Jalen Phillips a 1-year, $17 million deal, I might be frustrated. I might be like, why wouldn't you just give him a 3-year, $49 million
Yeah.
or, whatever, like a little closer to like, so it is kind of counterintuitive to marry the young one, but I think Hendrickson just has the most upside here. I know Phillips, like you said, he played a lot better last year, but his audition for me will be an expensive one. And if I'm not the one who gets to then keep him, it will kind of suck. But if I get 1 year of elite edge play, I'm not going to be mad at it.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right. Next up,
Move on.
we have, the running backs. This is going to be fun. Okay. We have reigning Super Bowl MVP, K9, Kenneth Walker, Ken Bone Walker, Travis Etienne, and Kenny G, Kenneth Gainwell. Etienne has historically been my boy. I just have to get out ahead of that and say that. This is kind of a tricky one because, Adrian, I actually think the spot rack thing really helped. If you have that up and you could tell me the projected AAVs of these guys, average annual value of these guys, that would be really helpful because right. I think I'm going to start weighing that into my equations, to be honest.
All right. In order of money, Kenneth Walker projected 9 mil, Travis Etienne 6.8, and Gainwell all the way down at 3 mil.
Sheesh. Okay. I'm gonna marry Kenneth Walker. I understand he has a volatile play style, but he's young. He's the reigning MVP. He showed Super Bowl MVP. He showed how impactful he can be down the stretch. Playoffs on with no Charbonnet kind of weighing him down. That dude was a savage in the playoffs and in the Super Bowl. And if not for a ticky-tack holding call, he probably has one of the most dominant performances by a running back in Super Bowl history under his belt.
Fair.
It is what it is. Can't take that back. Cost me the over. Cost me the Kenneth Walker anytime touchdown. I digress. My rent was hurt in that month. But I like K9 quite a bit. I'm gonna surprise people here, but at the cost of 6.8 versus 3, I'm gonna freak Kenny G because I feel like Kenny G in a third down back roll, especially like a lot of this. Obviously, I'm a Bills fan, so I'm projecting a lot of this through the lens of like plugging them into the bill, just because that's kind of
Yep.
how my fan brain works. If you told me Kenny G came in on a 1 year, $3 million deal, I would probably assume it would come at the cost of Ty Johnson, which I love Ty Johnson, but I think Kenneth Gainwell can do similar things, and that's a little, I think, less than we'd be paying Ty Johnson, and he did damn good at that stuff in Pittsburgh. So I like that. And then ETN 6.8 mil for a running back of his caliber. It's fair, and I think he deserves it, and I think he'll get it. And the nature of the game is somebody's got to get cut. I'm just cutting Travis that day.
Yeah, we have the similar, not even similar, the same FMK. I think. Look,
Wow.
Kenny Walker. Yeah, I put him down to marry. I think though I marry with caution because he kind of reeks of someone that's like Super Bowl MVP, just coming off and he's just had that
Fair.
amazing contract year.
Fair.
He has been. There's a legit headline that he's been tied to the Chiefs. I think that's terrifying.
Ew, I would grow up. No, please
Yeah,
no.
he was averaging 9.1 yards per reception, so he can catch out of the backfield. Yeah, he can kind of do it all. And you're right, he was always overshadowed by Charbonnet. Once he got the spotlight, he had no problem stepping up. And to me, like the day of the bell cow back is slowly going away. And some words
For
have come up
sure.
about Ashton Genty, where it's kind of like they want a 1-2 punch. And having Kenneth Walker as your one in that,
I like
I
that.
think
I
he
like
checks the box. I'm cutting ETN. I know he's your boy. He's
I
gone
do
over
like him.
1,000 yards in 3 or 4 seasons, right?
Good player.
He's a good player, but I just with that, it's not like Bashal Tudor was blowing anyone's mind last year. Why are the Jags letting him walk is my kind of question, and why did you bring in young talent to kind of, I don't know. There's something about ETN that has never really sat right with me. And
Yeah.
I'm trying now. I can't think of who their other running back is, and that's a major.
Well, they had what's his face? They had the dude they traded to Philly.
Am I?
Bigsby.
Yeah,
Yes, it was
I don't know.
Bigsby. They
But no,
traded
they've got
him.
one
So
other person behind him. I'm going to bring it up while I'm talking that. But my
I
point
also
being is,
can't think of that off the top of my head. Yeah, I didn't know that.
no, sorry, they had LaQuint Allen Jr. who they drafted, and this is kind of my point.
Who?
Their number 2 is Bashal Tudor, and so he didn't show enough to me that it's like, okay, I'm ready to send ETN, who was a productive back. Unless the Jags know something we don't, and sometimes I just you kind of get that feeling. I've never been a big
Yeah,
ETN fan. It's not nearly as much as you. And
I
as
like
for
him.
Gainwell, if nothing else, Gainwell, the Steelers absolutely love him. I'm talking about the players. He was voted MVP of their locker room. He was Rodgers' favorite receiving target, which is crazy in an offense that had DK Metcalf. So
Yeah,
I think you put Gainwell in as your 2. So, and that's why I'm putting him as the freak. You marry Kenneth Walker as your 1, and ETN, I just don't know. I could see him being those ones who just fades into he's probably going to make more money than what did I say? Was he projected number 1 or 2? Number 2. He's probably going to make a lot of money. But I feel like he could be one of those ones who fades into obscurity in the next 2-3 years. That's just my vibes, if nothing else.
you talking about ETN?
Analysis. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a tad unfair. Like former first round pick, like stud out of Clemson, like impactful guy. I think he'll find a niche somewhere. He'll find a home, and he'll be a solid player. I just at 7 mil, smart money ain't on no running backs. And if you think about, the way that bro, I'm pretty sure if I recall correctly, Cook is getting maybe 14 mil or something like that. Like, bro, the difference in impact, like you have to
Of
measure.
course.
You know what I mean? Like a player like it's tough to use Saquon as an example because he's coming off of a down year. A player like Bijan, a player like Gibbs, like ETN, tying up any sort of your cap in a player like ETN is just not worth it because he's just not a gold star and he's probably not a silver star. He's a bronze star, and like you said, some probably poverty franchise will probably throw a bag at him. He screams like not quite Panther right now. Maybe Panther. Maybe I'll
Yeah,
go play with
maybe.
his brother, right? Like
Well, I think
because
Richard
Dowdle's
Dowdle's
leaving. Dowdle's
yeah.
leaving. And Chuba is a scat back. He's not really a full like a workhorse. Man, Chuba had a tough year last year. That was unfortunate after they gave him the bag. But yeah, so that's the thing. I think ETN gets unfair hate and flack. He's a pretty dynamic guy, pretty dynamic player. So I'm rooting for him wherever he goes, but he is the cut for me today as well.
I'm just looking at the free agent list here and who's scheduled to make less or expected to make less. Over the ETN, I would take Tyler Algier.
Yeah, if I had a dynamic scat back, third down back type player to pair him with, I would. I wouldn't pick him as the lead.
I don't know if I'd take Dobbins over.
Nope.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay. I'll look. I mean, and it's actually a pretty good class if you don't need a bell cow. If you don't need like your superstar running back, it's a good class because you got. I mean, Brees Hall's forget it because he's going to be with the Jets. Kenneth Walker, Travis Etienne, Rico Dowdle.
You think he's going to stay with the Jets? He hates the Jets.
I don't think they're going to let him leave. Can't they can still tag him? Can't
he
they?
He hates them. I think they can, but he can do the whole modern athlete. I ain't going.
Le'Veon.
I'm not going to be there.
Yeah, well, he could do that.
I don't know.
I mean, Nick Chubb. You know, I love Nick Chubb. He's coming up as a free agent, but he hasn't got anything left.
He is so cooked. Respectfully, unfortunately, I apologize.
See, all right. Can I tell you something? I would take if I needed just like a third down bruiser to get me 2 yards. I'd take AJ Dillon, and I'm biased there, obviously, as a Green Bay fan, but dude can get you 3 yards when you need 3 yards.
Dude, for me, yeah, dude can get you 3 yards if you need 3 yards, and 3 yards if you need 4 yards. You know what I'm saying?
Correct. Yeah. Exactly.
My thing is like, okay, you could build a little backfield with just grab Gainwell and Algier and just 1-2 punch it. That's kind of an ideal backfield.
I like that.
I mean, they probably both want more workload, so they probably are inclined not to go somewhere where one of the other big fish is going. But I don't know. That's
like I said, where the days of the superstar takes all the snaps, they are dwindling. The 1-2 punch.
If we were GMing the 33rd team, could we make Malik Willis, Kenny G, and Tyler Algier into like a 10-7 team?
I think so. I think you've got a dynamic run, like a run game there with the run threat of Willis. I think you. And you know what? And there's a player we're going to bring up in a sec. I'd be bringing him in as well.
Come on. All right, you're going to kick it off here. We have Cade Otton of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers fame. Isaiah, likely his toe was likely out of bounds. And Travis Kelce, a.k.a. Mr. A-list celebrity.
All right, let me bring up. So, is this accurate? Travis Kelce's scheduled to be top of the market with 10.7 mil. That feels like. I mean, I know it's
Travis Kelce is scheduled to be retired, bro. What are we doing?
I was going to say
get him out of here.
He is my cut candidate by a long shot.
He cooked.
Isaiah Likely 8.8, and where's Cade? And he's 7. Oh, I'm scared. I don't know. Wait. No, I did. I was like, why are they so far down? It's because I wasn't sorting by market value. Okay, so 8.8 for Likely, 7.9 for Odin, and 10.7 for Travis Kelce. Which
this is pretty interesting. Hold on, really quick. Justin David Kish, sports journalist, says, Dylan, really? No love for Dare or Jeremy McNichols. That feels... I can't tell if he's being sarcastic or not. Like, I like those guys. I think, did McNichols get a cup of coffee with the Bills? I like those guys. But would I take Dylan over them? I think I would probably take Dare over Dylan. I'm not a Dylan guy. You're admittedly, you're biased. I know you're a Packers fan, but
Justin, thanks for commenting, man. But and it's I think it's your first time, Bob, since I've
I don't think I've been on. Justin, what up, Justin?
So sup, but you should know, like, look, I try to be analyst first, but I can't help it, man. I'm a Packers fan at heart, and I've seen AJ Dillon get us out of some tough spots.
He wasn't really that special for you guys, though, man. He kind of sucked.
But he was. He didn't jump off the stat sheet because but there was times where you needed it, and he would get it, and he made it like, and he was just a big dude, and he could just break some tackles. And I just
He was a
like, if I
bruiser
want
for
to,
sure.
yeah, if I want a third down bruiser, I want the Quadfather, which was his nickname in Green Bay. So,
That's
um,
dope.
so yeah, so look, it's no disrespect to Dario McNichols, but that's who I'm going. And again, it's probably purely biased. It's probably a bad idea,
Oh, hell yeah,
and that's why I
Justin.
suck at
Dylan
fantasy.
and his injury history concerns me. Haha. Appreciate you guys. Keep on the grind. Appreciate you, Justin. Hey, come back, man. We do these shows all the time, so please come hang. We love that you're commenting. This is we got our boy Armand holding it down in the chat, wishing desperately that the Jets had gotten rid of Brees Hall, their best player. I'm still wondering who the Jets head coach is going to be. Get it? Were you there on the pod? I was fully convinced that Aaron Glenn was fired.
And you probably like it's weird that like your incorrect convinced state was what it should have been.
I was Bernstein Bears. I was like, no, dude, he got fired. Trust me. Like, I don't know what you guys are talking about. Anyways, let's get back to tight ends here.
All right, so here's how I'm going. So Kelsey is the easy cut for me, and it's not because he probably wasn't the issue, and he was moving a bit better last year than he was the previous. Like I think in the 24 season there was a lot of talk of Kelsey's decline.
Yeah.
I don't think he was the issue in the offense last year. He was still moving better. But I'm still cutting him because he's another one. He's a more name than game player at this point. And I just don't want that smoke.
Yeah, agreed.
I think, look, so for me, I'm taking Kate Otten as my marry, and I'll tell you why. I think Kate Otten is probably the best run blocker. He's got good hands, but he's the best run blocker. And we're moving into this world where the Rams have had these 3 tight end sets, and 2 tight end sets are becoming such a big thing. And
Huge.
like you, I sometimes I put this through the Green Bay lens, and I just think about having a good run blocking tight end opposite Tucker Craft, take out Luke Musgrave, no disrespect.
Interesting.
I could see him in Denver with Evan Ingram, and I feel like you could put him in, and you don't know what he's doing. Is he chipping? Is he blocking? Is he catching? Is he running? I think Kate Otten was probably underused. He kind of came out of the gate strong and then dropped off a little. So I'm marrying him, and Isaiah Likely is. He's stepped up when it's needed to be. It's hard because he's in this gigantic shadow of Mark Andrews. So I think he may be the dude. He declined last year to only one touchdown. But the 2 years previous, he was ranked 3rd and 6th in yards by a tight end. So, to have someone who's behind Mark Andrews ranked 3rd in yards by a tight end is pretty insane. He could probably be the guy. He's gonna make money. Someone's gonna sign him and let him be the belle of the ball. And I wish him all the best. But for me, it's a freak. And I want to know that he can do it. Like, I want to know he can do it when he's the only guy I've got.
Yeah. So I will just catch up on the chat because you guys have set a fire in here. Garrett Wilson is the Jets' best player. Fair. Fair. Yeah, he's definitely better than Brees Hall. Hasn't had a chance to show it thus far in his career, which is really sad because, man alive, does that dude have insane talent. Over under on how many games Aaron Glenn coached before being fired? I'd set it at 8.5. That would be my line.
I don't think he's getting fired.
Woo! That's a hot take.
I am always.
Jets are 2-6. He's not canned.
I have perpetually, probably, but I've perpetually been a believer in the Jets turning it around. So don't take my word for it because I was. Didn't I make them my darling team? I did. They were my off-season darling.
Disgusting. I almost did too. Thank God you fell on that sword for me.
Yeah, that was like 6 swords covered in bacteria and then falling into like a pool of vinegar. Like that was terrible.
It was not a fun time for you.
So I don't think he's getting fired next year.
And yeah, Justin, I like your picks for these, man. These are fun. Darren Waller. Yeah, if you replace him with Kelsey in this equation, I do think it would be a little bit harder of a decision. I still think I'd just absolutely cut both of them because those other 2 dudes are just interesting. They're younger. They're more interesting. So to answer you, Adrian, I could definitely see a case for Kelsey to be the freak because it's a 1-year thing and he still has something in the tank. But that something that he has in the tank, in my opinion, is likely ceiling-wise lower than what Otten and Likely still have to offer as players.
Yeah.
I also am going to marry Kate Otten. And I thought your reasoning was pretty interesting because if I was going through the lens of I'm building for Green Bay, I would have probably signed Likely because I feel like his skill set pairs better with Tucker Kraft's skill set. Like I feel like those two make a better 1-2 punch. I feel like Kate Otten is almost like Diet Kraft. So I feel like I would prefer to have the different skill set. But
take Diet Kraft any day. Gotta love Tucker Kraft.
He's awesome. You're like, I'd rather just have,
Yeah, clone
the
him.
Hulk
Clone him like that
and the
sheep we
slightly
did.
less strong Hulk. Yeah. For me, I'm gonna marry Kate Otten, but only because I feel like Isaiah Likely. We're talking about freak, right? Kate Otten, I feel like I could have a life with. Like we could settle down. Like, we could like go to the movies and binge our reality TV and share a pint. Isaiah Likely, because he's reliable. Isaiah Likely, he will have those spike weeks. He
Yeah.
will be the flash in the pan. He will be fun. He will be a fun time for that 1 year. He will be a fun freak, but I'm looking for a heating unit, not a match in my marriages. So I'm taking Kate Otten over Isaiah Likely, but I think Isaiah Likely on a 1 year deal somewhere would be fire. I think it would be a good time. You'd get those highs, you'd get those lows. You'd be arguing for no reason on a Tuesday, for sure. But that's besides the point. That's why I'm marrying
For
Kate
sure,
Otten.
there's some weeks where like a week where you don't hear from Likely, and you're like, well, this guy's not responding to me. He's
Yeah,
leaving me on red. Like,
you don't hear from him. He's got an ankle thing. You don't
yeah, he
hear
gives
from
you a
him. He's
story and it
one
doesn't
for
quite marry
seven.
up.
Yep. Yeah, he's one catch for 7 yards, and you're like, why did I pay this dude all this money to ghost me? He'll ghost you. Ayo.
Correct.
All right.
All right. Our last two are going to be trade targets. So I took some that were relatively speculative, of course, but relatively hot names in the trade target market. So first one is in the quarterback. We've talked about one of them so far. It's up to you. If you want to kick it off, we'll kick it off. I don't mind.
Actually, I'll kick it off. Wow. I'm gonna go with the same logic as before, and it's really unfortunate, but I'm gonna marry Tanner McKee strictly because he has the he could be a boat thing. He has the he could be a boat thing, right? We know what the other two are. We've seen them reach ceilings in their career. We've also seen them kind of live closer to a floor in their career. I'm gonna still free Kyler just like I did last time because I do still think you can capitalize on some of that magic. He has those traits that are completely undeniable. Yeah, he's small. He's injury prone. He doesn't run enough, in my opinion. I'd like to see him run more. Like put a run first mindset in him. Maybe put on a couple pounds. Tua, I don't even dislike him as a person. I root for him. I feel genuinely terrible for him that his career has gone the way that it's gone, despite the fact that obviously as a Bills fan, I was rooting against his career being good. I would have preferred to have seen it go good because he sucked, not because he's taken the beating that he's taken. And I do just believe genuinely at any moment in time, like just the risk with Tua of any knock to the dome could be one that will end his career. I just, with all due respect, and he's not wearing a Guardian cap. I'm just like, dude, like I get it. I get it's dorky looking, it's doofy looking. I don't understand why you wouldn't do that. Like think about your future, think about your CTE, think about your children. I'm sorry. I know people, oh, you're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to talk about another man's whatever. It's optics, whatever. I apologize. If I offended anybody, I apologize. But that's how I perceive it. And so I will choose to cut to I'm rooting for him. I hope he goes somewhere and balls out. It would be sick. Just like Chris Olave. Chris Olave's got the same head thing. But Chris Olave balled out last year, man. And maybe it's just behind him. Maybe he'll go the Tyler Lockett route of just, I'm going to learn how to fall right. Tua talked about, I took Taekwondo to learn how to fall. I don't know, man. I feel like I've still seen you. This dude tackled somebody with his head.
Yeah, I know.
I'm sorry. I'm ranting. Sounds
I agree
anti
with
Tua.
you.
I'm not. I'm pro Tua. I hope to see him go to like I'd love to see Tua go to like the Steelers or something and just be a beast and go to the playoffs and have a little moment. I'd love that.
I think with Tua, all right. So I had the exact same. We're in the same boat on the same people. So I'm going to start with Tua though because we kind of talked about it now. I don't think it's unfair, and I don't think it's taboo to talk about his injury history and how it could happen and like, dude, wear a freaking Guardian cap. You're so right on that. Like, all right, I understand that it does look kind of funny. Plenty of players do it, and it just kind of like. And I don't want to make this Adrian talks about the Packers podcast. Romeo Doubs wears it, and now it's kind of endearing. Now I'm like,
he kills it.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, you look dorky, but it's cool because when you pull off a baller catch, you're like rolling up, point the ball, giant head.
Yeah, you got a little mushroom cap. What are we doing?
It's your thing. And I don't think anyone would judge you after the amount of concussions he's had. I think with Tua, look, and this is again, I don't like Tua as much as you do, but I think if you think about three aspects of his game, the injury history, we all know the story, so I'm not going to drain onto that one. his play on the field, he has the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. He's as streaky as they come. And we all know that you cannot get to a Super Bowl with a super streaky player. And before you come at me with Sam Darnold, I understand, like, you can. I'm not saying that no one can do it because worst quarterbacks have won the Super Bowl. I just think that you're banking a lot of money to have a guy who's probably not going to be able to deliver in January or deliver for a 4-game stretch straight. And then I think about off the field stuff and some of the things he says to the media. And this is a double-edged sword because
Yeah,
I kind of
exactly.
like when a player is a little bit more upfront and a little bit more honest with the media. But like when you're tearing down your own teammates to the media, it's kind of like, dude, you're the leader in that locker room talking about how they're not rocking up to player-only meetings. Go talk to them. You don't need to
Yeah.
put that in front of the camera and things like that.
You're
He said a
clocking.
few things.
You're clocking. He
Yeah.
does the whole like gimmick too, where he like calls the media out a lot, and he does like the whole like, okay, well, if you think it's so easy to do it, I do. I'm gonna give you a play call, and then I want to see you do the same play call. Right? Z X Y Axel 42. Now repeat it back to me. Yeah, exactly. See, it's like, dude, man, you don't look cool right now. You look like a jerk. He
It's
does
like,
that a lot. He gets snippy. He gets
yeah.
feisty.
And it's kind of like, you know, if with absolutely zero preparation they said run a 1,400-word article that's going to take, like, you can't do that either, man. Don't
That's
talk
not
to me.
fair. It's stupid. It's yeah. It's tacky.
Kyler Murray is the freak, and it's because, look, you know what's funny? I'm higher on Kyler the most, and I think we talked about this, so I'm going to keep it brief. If you had him for a year, there's a chance you end up re-signing him, and I think he could deliver in the right system. I still think he's got something in the tank, but for that reason, all the reasons we've talked about, I'll keep him as the freak, and I'll marry Tanner McGee. But the marriage to Tanner McGee, like, it's a Vegas marriage, man. He put stuff on tape, but it's a short sample size.
Yeah.
But he absolutely showed some of the traits, some of the decision making you like. He was a preseason star. You might get that. Yeah, absolutely
he could
might.
be a vote. He could be a vote.
You know who was a preseason? Wasn't Will Levis a preseason star? Like, do you know what I mean? There's preseason is not real football,
Yeah, you
and
never
so
know.
you
Nate
can't
Peterman.
really use that as your and exactly. Now you're going to be marrying this dude, so it might be an expensive divorce. But look, I don't think he's gonna be an overly pricey asset, but he's a good backup to have for the Eagles. So I would be surprised if they let him go cheap.
I love it, man. We're lockstep, man. Let's take it home. One last freak, marry, kill.
This one's hard.
Oh,
This one's hard.
woo! Oh, wow. Okay, this is really hard. Okay, Adrian, I think you should kick us off. We got Philadelphia Eagles, AJ Brown, Jacksonville Jaguars, Brian Thomas Jr., and Pittsburgh Steelers, DK Metcalf. Take it home.
All right. So one of the other things we didn't mention about Tua was how much dead money he brings with him, and the Dolphins are still willing to let him go. They might try and get some salary back. The beauty of DK Metcalf here is that beauty is a strong word here, but his suspension for that fan altercation voided all of his guaranteed money, which means he's a much more appealing trade target if the Steelers decided they wanted to go another way. I'm going to marry DK Metcalf in this because I don't think he'll cost as much for that reason. I think he is an absolute baller, and he showed those signs. And the thing with Aaron Rodgers and a diva wide receiver like Metcalf, it's almost like clashing because Rodgers is too proud to sort of be like, I'm going to feed him because I need to keep his ego high. And people will come to me and say, well, what about Devontae Adams? Devontae Adams was not that dude. Yes, you hear from him in the media, but he's not like Metcalf. I think you bring Metcalf and he's still got all the skills to make it work for a multi-year deal. I think you bring in AJ Brown as the freak, and this is hard to say because that leaves Brian Thomas Jr. to cut the youngest, and possibly, I know he dropped off a absolute cliff last year, but if you're talking about flashes in a pan of who showed, I mean, do you remember the hype around Brian Thomas Jr. after his rookie year?
I sure do.
It was
like a first or second round pick in fantasy last year.
Yeah, it was first round if I remember right. So, but I think AJ Brown, you bring him in, he can do what he needs to do. But it's only a freak because there's every chance AJ Brown becomes Antonio Brown. Do you know what I mean? Like there's every chance he brings that smoke and drama with him, and he walks off the field topless at some point of the game. So I would bring in AJ Brown for a quick but I think strong campaign. But I don't think I'm locking him up to a multi-year deal because I feel like any sign of decline, and you're going to hear about him in the media. So I'm freaking him. And I'm cutting Brian Thomas Jr. begrudgingly because there is every chance he goes to the right system and reignites that spark. And we've seen it happen before. But I think Metcalf at this time in his life, at this level of play, he's the one you marry.
It's interesting. I love that we finally have such strong disagreements. I don't knock your thought process whatsoever for any of that. And Armand actually is freaking DK. So we have three submissions, yours, Armand's, and mine, and they're all completely different. I personally would marry Brian Thomas Jr. because I'm picturing this as like we are high school sweethearts. He is that
No,
age.
you're in lockstep. Oh wait, you might not be, but the last
Well, exactly. We are. He is that age where like, oh my gosh, like me and Brian Thomas Jr. Like we're young enough that we can have our whole lives together. Like we could live our 20s together. We can live our 30s together. You know, I'm doing the whole Bills thing. Like, oh my god, imagine Brian Thomas Jr. paired with Josh Allen. Like I would buy his jersey. I would. The minute the notification hit my phone, I would go to one of those sketchy websites and order his jersey off the black market in a heartbeat. His bootleg jersey. Because those highs his rookie year were so high, and I think his shortcomings as a sophomore were more mental and scheme than like a physical drop off, or like he lost the ability to play receiver in the NFL. Like I think he had the yips a little bit, and I don't think he fit into Liam Cohen's system as well as he did into Doug Peterson's system. So I think for me, it's a no-brainer. I'm Brian Thomas Jr. All day, Mary, and thank you very much. 5th-year option included in that deal. Give me all the Brian Thomas Jr. I get 3 years of potentially all-pro wide receiver play at on a rookie deal. That's a no-brainer to me. No offense. I mean, you're a smart guy, and I respect your opinion. The guy you chose to marry, the guy you chose to hitch your wagon to, I am cutting. The volatility in his performance and his mood, bro, I can't be having that volatility, bro. And I know AJ Brown's not much better, but at least his was confined to being at times seemingly a bad teammate and being not bought in and whatnot, and there being effort issues. Homie punched a fan, bro. Like I saw the video, and I know the fan was maybe egging him on, and that was pretty interesting. And that fan has gone on to do some reckless things in the media since. So, I'm not trying to give DK Metcalf any grief for that per se, but he's had those temper issues before. He fights players a lot. He's talking about hitching your
competitor. He's passionate. When I'm talking to my friends about him, it's like he's a passionate guy. Sometimes that comes through the wrong way.
I respect it. I do.
I talk myself into staying in the marriage.
I respect. I'm not mad at it. I think these three are all good players. Like if you told me the Bills tomorrow traded for DK Metcalf, I probably wouldn't order the jersey right away, but I wouldn't be mad.
I hear that.
You know what I'm saying? And you're right. The voided guarantees really, making that contract more tradable.
Look it up what that is.
AJ Brown, I'm gonna freak just because. Yeah, I do think for a 1 year. I think he's 29, maybe 30. I do think for he's getting up there. I do think for a 1 year, I am mad at that. I think he can go win some jump balls, and in a pass first offense that doesn't have Jalen Hurts at QB. Respectfully, I think he can be a very high impact player at this stage of his career, and I think he can go. You push the chips in on an AJ Brown. I think he can go get you a ring. If you got if you're missing I'll get same lens. Bills, I would be stoked to get AJ Brown. Way happier to get AJ Brown than I would be to get DK Metcalf, which is why I'm marry BTJ, freak AJ Brown, kill DK Metcalf.
I think that point of not being in a Jalen Hurts offense is so. I mean, it's not undersold because people have talked about it, so that's not like a hot take by any means. But like, you're so limited in what you can do and how complex your scheme can be with Jalen Hurts. I think AJ Brown suffers for it hard, and I think you put him in the right offense with the right amount of pre-snap motion, the right amount of getting him open. I think he could be a freaking monster.
That's what I'm saying. So I again totally respect your trio, and I like these. Oh my word, is Armand serious? You take Michael Pittman. I was gonna call him MPJ, but that's Michael Porter in the NBA. I apologize. Michael Porter over DK and AJ. MP over DK.
I don't know if I've taken some flack on this show for not thinking as Michael Pittman as a wide receiver one previously, particularly from our resident Colts fans. So
correct. I like
I'm not going to say anything. Yeah, I like him, but I don't love him.
Not over DK or AJ. I just don't think. I think I agree with you in the sense that he's not a prototypical wide receiver one. I think he has it's kind of like Shakir. He has the skill set to be the best receiver on a team, but he's never going to be a prototypical one because how are you going to play him on those boundary routes. How are you going to make him be that guy? You know what I mean?
I just realized, and maybe we can do this on rapid fire. I missed one in my banners.
Yeah, let's rapid fire it.
All right, I'm just going to say because I'll type it as we're going, so you can bring it up. Alec Pierce, Rashid Shaheed, Juwan Jennings.
Oh, I'm gonna marry Alec Pierce. Ceiling. I'm gonna freak Rashid Shaheed. The game-changing ability with reverses and deep balls, and as a special teams player. I'm gonna cut Jennings slightly begrudgingly because I like him a lot as a boundary player. But I think his ceiling is lower, and I think, again, talk about volatility. He is a locker room guy. He's a glue guy, but he gets under people's skin, man. He's a Draymond Green type. He's kind of a goon.
Yep. I agree with you 100%. I think that's exactly what I had. And I think Alec Pierce, this is crazy. Over the last 2 years, averaging 21.8 yards per reception. He stretches the field like it's really undersold how well he does that. So you can take the top off the defense. You're going to pay a premium in this NFL. I think he will be a start. I think if he goes to New England, it will be really dangerous. I think. Like,
I do too.
Give me someone like a deep ball accurate
him and
passer,
Booty. Get Diggs out of there.
That would be rough. I'm freaking Rashid Shaheed because he is absolutely just as likely to leave you on red as he is to show up with a dozen roses and a horse-drawn carriage.
It's true.
He
left us on red in the Super Bowl, didn't he? He left us on red, huh?
Correct. But then he rocked up with the San Francisco game, and he had the horse-drawn carriage. He was playing your favorite music. He was taking your favorite restaurant. You thought this was love.
Oh yeah, I love it.
Jennings, it's weird. He'll probably get more money. In fact, he's projected to get more money than Tyreek. Like I'd take some vets over him. I think you get the same production, even though he's a younger dude.
Adrian, we freaking did it, man. We made it through the FMK Legit Football Edition. Not quite after dark, but maybe like evening.
Dusk.
This was a dusk Legit Football. So ladies and gentlemen, again, the language, we try to keep it as clean as possible. We apologize if we got a little flagrant at times with the analogies and the metaphors, but you get what you pay for here. And Legit Football is free if you didn't know. Legitfootball.com. Legitfootball.com, free daily newsletter. If you're not already subscribed, get your tookus. See, we're clean as day. Get your tookus over there to that legitfootball.com. Subscribe. We have so much coming down the pipeline for you. We're really grateful to our team, Brian McFadden and Joe, for keeping the wheels on. Adrian and I, it's the smallest but most gratifying part of our duties to keep this beautiful little hour of sports media alive every week. As much as we try to do it every week. I mean, wait till the free agency and the draft and all that fun stuff. We'll be seeing you more often. But Adrian, anything you want to say to the good people before we sign off?
No, nothing at all. You said it everything there. So it's been fun as always. Thanks to the comments. That always helps us. Like Aman, Titan Maximum, you guys are always the goats in there, and we appreciate you. Justin, good to see you in there, bro. I appreciate that you appreciate our takes. Because we're of course right about everything, and we're never wrong about anything ever. So don't check up on that. Yeah, don't hold receipts. Just take it to be true. So it's been fun, man, and we did it in under an hour. I'm proud of us.
Such a blast. Yeah, we're very rare for us, but we were able to pull it off. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Kevin Phillip Fox. Thanks for coming in, checking out Legit Football today. He's Adrian Revito, and we are out.